So welcome everybody to my first drive review of the Mulgari ICON 03. So as always, there's a health and safety warning in effect, as I am again wearing shorts, but I know you're not looking at me, you're looking at the gorgeous coupe to my left. Now before I crack on with the review, just a brief history of Mulgari. They're a British based company based here in sunny Bracknell, and as you can tell from the title of the 03, they've made two cars previously, the 01 and the 02. Now the 01 was a very special car. It was a one of a kind. It was based on a Mclaren 12C for a very special customer. It had a bespoke body kit and also a tweaked interior, and power was lifted to around 720 bhp. Now with that first album, what do you do for the second album? You've got to go mainstream, and that's what Mulgari did. So what they did, they took a Mini JCW and again gave it some performance upgrades as well as handling packs and a lot of exterior and interior personalization to it. So you can actually buy that car still now. It's not a limited run car, and you can really tailor it to your own liking. Now what do you do for the difficult third album? You combine elements of the ICON 1 and you combine elements of the 02 and whack them together. So you get this, the ICON 03. It started life as a BMW M240i with again a huge performance boost from under the bonnet. You have a very subtle but brilliant, of course I'm joking, it's not subtle, you have a gorgeous body kit, those huge wheel arches there, and also it's not form over function, it's not a numbers game. The guys at Mogari have really worked their magic on this car, as you'll find out shortly. But what you do have with the ICON 03 is you do pay homage to BMWs of old as well as current BMWs. So you do get things on the ICON 03 that you don't get on an M240i. Now the big one is a carbon fibre roof, and that's a real nice addition to the car. What it does mean is there's a little bit less weight in the vehicle and it lowers the centre of gravity. But it's not all comparing to the M240i, because if you're going to go up in the performance stakes with BMW, you're going to go for an M2 or an M2 competition. When it comes to performance though, as you will find out, this kind of blows it away. You've also got the look of the car. Now I mentioned those gigantic wide arches, and if you're a big fan of wide arches, then click up in the top right hand corner, because you can also watch my review of the Isuzu D-Max AT35 Arctic truck, and that too has some pretty flared arches. But back to the 03, you can also see at the back of the car you've got these gorgeous wide arches again, and you can see where the additional panels have been put onto the car. They have been 3D printed, and they're also going to be of carbon fibre. There's a lot of carbon fibre on here that you cannot see, and I mean that in a good way. So you've got the roof and you've got the boot lip spoiler, which is clearly carbon fibre, but you've also got a carbon fibre front splitter and also rear diffuser, but they've been painted a matte colour, so it actually doesn't stand out. It's toning down the car a little bit, despite the gorgeous look of it and the menacing arches. It's got a huge amount of presence, but it's weird, it's not too shouty. Okay, yes, you've got ICON 03 written on the side, but at the same time, there's an element of subtlety about it compared to something like a BMW M2. But I'm absolutely loving what Mulgari have done with this car. The exterior is absolutely wonderful. It is something to behold. Even at the back of the car you've got these, well, this huge presence with it, and you've got the gorgeous exhausts as well, which are Akrapovic exhausts. I'm hoping I pronounced that correctly, and you'll get to hear what they sound like in a moment. So that's the ICON 03 exterior. Let's have a quick little look at the interior before we get going for a drive. Sat in the ICON 03, the first thing you find is that these bucket seats, these Recaro bucket seats, are absolutely gorgeous. They just hold you in place, and even a big bear like me can actually get comfortable in here. And I'm 5'7" tall and 5'7" wide, and my kidneys are not being pinched, so that is a real good plus there. It's also not as in your face as the exterior of the car, and I think Mulgari have done this deliberately so that your focus is on driving the car rather than being distracted by lots of bright colours and shiny bits of carbon. Of course there are bright colours in here. As I mentioned, the brake calipers can be a colour of your choosing, and it is then reflected on the inside of the cabin, but it is done in a very subtle way. You've got the yellow accent on top of the steering wheel and on the bottom here, as well as just a couple of bits highlighted on the dashboard. It does feel very much like an M240i, but also in a very good way. You also sit a full inch lower than that of a BMW M2 competition, so that is something to bear in mind, especially if you want to take the car down the track. But it's just been very tastefully done what Mulgari have done in here. You also get the good BMW sides to it as well, so you do get the iDrive infotainment system. You've also got dual zone climate control and all the mod cons you expect to get from an M240i, including a Harman Kardon stereo. So yeah, this is a car that not only has it got the performance, but yeah, it's got the ability to be used almost like every single day, which is always a good thing. Now, I know what you're wanting me to do, and let's take it for a drive, shall we? Right, now before I get driving in the Icon 03, I thought best to kind of have a chat with somebody at Mulgari, because you might not be knowing much about the brand and much about the Icon 3. So with me, I've got Nate, who is not only their product specialist, but you're also the development driver of the 03. So firstly, welcome to Autobears, and welcome for being a guinea pig for the first ever interview.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for inviting me. So the first question, why an M240i and not something like the base M2?
It's a very fair question as well. The M2, I suppose you could say, was developed in a certain direction. The 240 not only has the B58 engine, which is turns out to be a stunning engine to work with, but on top of that, it's kind of a little bit more open for development, you could say. So we started with that base, and as you've seen, the result outside's pretty spectacular.
Yes, I mean, it's definitely an imposing looking car.
Yeah,
so I guess it's kind of a case of cost as well. So if you start with an M2, you've already got a car that's over 50 grand.
There's definitely a cost element. There was, again, as I mentioned, the engine side of which engine we're going to choose. Again, it was quite a difficult choice to make. But I think, as you said, mainly the cost benefits, because we were going to develop so far in a certain direction with the car. Keeping the cost just a little bit lower, keeping the donor car just a little bit more open to develop in the direction that the Mogari wanted to go.
Oh, very cool. So with the Icon 3 or 03, what was the aim of it? What was the intention for the final product?
I think if you were to ask Ben that question, Ben being the design director,
yeah,
the Icon 3 was very much always meant to be a very purist, very raw car, and the design ethos and the development process was always around not only the visual side of the car, because obviously it looks stunning, but it was very much about the drive and very much harking back to an era of sort of your 1990s raw rear-wheel drive sports cars.
So kind of taking what BMW have always wanted by creating the ultimate driving machine, but taking that and creating your very own ultimate driving machine.
Literally, the car was genuinely a homage to your E30 DTMs, your E46 CSLs, your E92 competitions. It is very much a homage to the M-Power cars of past and present, but making sure that there's not a disconnect, making sure the car's raw, connected to the driver. It was always driver-centric.
Excellent, but giving it its own Mulgari identity as well.
Very much its own personality.
Definitely, and you've seen from those arches, there's nothing really much else out there, not from BMW definitely, especially on the road. Another question now, there's going to be a number of people who own an M240i, possibly might not be one of the lucky ones to be able to get one of the 25 Icon 03s, but could they bring their 240i's down to Mulgari, and could they get a taste of what the 3 has got, but on their car?
Absolutely, yeah. As you say, Icon 3 is very, very heavily developed and obviously sits very far away from what would technically be the donor car that's down to M240i.
Yeah.
However, that's the halo product, as you might call it in a business sense, and spinning off from that car is a whole range of Mogari Plus products. So looking at stage 1 and stage 2 tuning, handling packs, visual aspects as well, especially the carbon fibre roof. That's something that we've installed ourselves, and something that we are more than ready to roll out to customers.
Oh, that's brilliant. So if you are after an M car, but you've got a 240i, you can have a taste of it. So you can have a carbon fibre roof, you can have
smoked rear lights, handling pack, stage 1, stage 2.
So not just performance, but also the cosmetic you know, some of the cosmetic
Some of the
tweaks.
elements of cosmetic
Yeah,
tweaks,
so you can definitely give your own M240i its own little taster of what Mulgari can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the final one, because at the time of coming here driving today, not many figures, if any, have been kind of published. Are you able to kind of give me some of the key figures about the ICON 03? So power, torque.
So at the wheels, we don't often like to talk about speculated figures at the crank, because obviously without taking the engine out of the car, it's impossible to get those real figures.
Yeah.
At the wheels, the car runs 420 horsepower.
Okay.
425. It runs 645 newton meters of torque.
That's a heck of a lot of pulling power.
Yeah, we bias torque over horsepower in the end in the development stages, because we want the car is designed to be not only a fantastic road-going sports car, but a track weapon as well.
Yeah.
So with the torque, you can be in any gear, at any part of the road, any time. Roll the foot down, you get a huge amount of acceleration, as you'll find out.
But yeah, I can't wait to. And
Talking figures.
Yeah, in terms of performance, 0 to 60,
We've had a range of different figures come in, but the figure is 3.6, 3.7 to 60.
So that is faster than the M2 Comp?
Considerably faster, and pretty consistently, dry or wet, you don't really get any wheel spin. You roll your foot down and the car squats and takes off. There's not really a loss of traction.
Okay,
It's amazing. Even 0 to 80, I forget the figure of 0 to 80, but it's a sub 6 seconds if I remember correctly. It's
80 miles an hour?
Yeah.
That's a heck of a lot of performance on there.
It's insane. The speed rating is to the tyres, so 186. We're aware that it's happy at that speed.
It's happy, okay.
Happy at those
I'm hoping it's a test
we
track.
can find out, but
No, probably, yeah, not around the streets of Bracknell, definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, thank you, Nate, so much for talking to Autobear, talking to me.
No, pleasure.
I think it's only fair and right now that I get the keys and I
just drive away.
I tell the wonderful people, yeah, what it's about. I will bring it back, I promise.
I hope you do.
All right, but there you are, guys. Now, if you have got any questions for Nate or for Mulgari in general, put them down in the comment section below. I will pass them on to Mulgari and the team here, and I'll do my utmost to get the answers that you want and pass them on to you. However, I will also put down Mulgari's website in the description. Click on the link so you can come to the website and also speak to them direct. But I'm kind of starting to get a bit twitchy now, so I think it's time that I get myself in the car. Right then, guys, so I'm back in the car. I have the key, so let's take the ICON 03 out for a little spin. Ooh, so that is a bit of a nice noise there. So first impressions, I'm just driving down a normal little road here. Surprisingly comfortable, but the big tyres, they are getting some of the bumps and imperfections coming into the car. One thing I'm really liking is this steering wheel. It feels lovely in your hand. Alcantara is just wonderful. It's a really lovely feeling. But just all-round visibility, if you've already got an M240i, you'll know the visibility is pretty good. The only thing, as I mentioned, is you look in the wing mirrors, you've just got little hints of those gigantic extended arches, which is just phenomenal. Just gives an idea of what the ICON 03 is like, but it's not like a difficult car to park or anything. It's very easy to park. Of course, you've got all the little convenience features, so you've got your front and rear parking sensors as well. So as you get going in the ICON 03, it's actually not as uncomfortable as I thought it would be. I did actually think it would be quite harsh and a little bit crashy, but the team have done an amazing job. They've really worked their magic on the suspension of the 03. As Nate said, he wanted this to be, or the team wanted the 03 to be a brilliant all-rounder car. So brilliant for driving on the road. Yes, there would be some compromises because you've got all that performance available in the car, but at the same time, when you need to, you put it on a track and it just comes alive, and that's something that the team really wanted, and they've done it absolutely brilliantly. And if you put your foot down, oh, you get a pop and a burble as well. I will mention now, I've got the car in normal mode. There's no Sport, well, you can put it into Sport or Sport Plus, but I've got it in normal mode and still the exhaust pops and burbles. It's got a huge amount of character, this car. So as I mentioned, Nate has done a huge amount of work on the suspension, but a huge amount of work also on the steering. The combination of ride and handling is absolutely sweet as a nut. The steering is incredibly quick and very responsive. In a sense, it will surprise you, definitely, because it is very quick. Something you do have to bear in mind though, if you do buy an 03, is being looked at, because you are in a very distinctive car. Yes, it is a BMW 2 Series, but that body kit just stands out and you are looked at by everyone. And I mean, those who are driving performance cars, those who are not driving performance cars, and just simple bystanders. So just be aware of that if you're one of the lucky 25 who gets an Icon 03. But I mean, I don't mind being stared at. Oh, I just wish I'd done my hair. So what's the car like performance wise? Well, I'm on an A road here. I'm doing 40 miles an hour in 7th gear. I've put the car into sport mode. I've not gone Sport Plus. I'm not that crazy as of yet. But in 7th gear, I'm going to drop it down a couple of pegs. 4th gear and foot down. Oh, oh, that's a lovely noise. And when you change gear as well, there's a, I hate calling it a fart, but you get that fart noise coming out of the back of the exhaust when you change gear. That is absolutely something else. It just adds character to the car, and that's something you want in this day and age with these kind of cars. You just don't want them just to be speed machines. You want them to do something nice, which is, oh, stir the soul. Oh, wow. And because it's and there's pops and bangs as well, and because it's a DCT gearbox, it's incredibly quick. There you go. Oh. That's seriously quick. And the torque is really nice and progressive. It does pull you into the seat, but it doesn't, well, I've probably been quite gentle, but I reckon this could probably scare me with some of the performance that's on offer, but it just feels really nice. The engine just keeps pulling. It's testament to the guys at Mulgari for extracting this amount of power out of it, because they could have gone bonkers. As Nate said, there is more they could get from the engine, but they just wanted that good amount there, that's usable amount. So there we are. Oh, oh God. Oh, that's brilliant. That's addictive. I love that. You know what? Round and roundabout, I need to do that again. One thing I definitely give Mulgari credit for is the fact that they've put an emphasis or a bias on the ride and handling for it to be a comfortable car. A lot of cars in this kind of category tend to be a little bit firmer, a little bit edgier or bumpier when driving about on normal roads, but they've really worked hard to make sure that you could use this on the road every day. It is a very comfortable car, but there is of course going to be a slight Jekyll and Hyde feel about it, because as soon as you put it into Sport or Sport Plus, you're going to unleash that beast. And I've put it into sport mode, driving around on public highways, and you can just tell, there's more under the bonnet, what the car wants to give you, and it wants you to exploit out of it. Again, it goes down to the fact that this car, with the exhaust, the pops and the bangs, there's a huge amount of character from it. And I really do think Mulgari, again, have done an amazing job in bringing that character out. If it's been hidden away in the M240i, they've definitely found it and unleashed it. Right, so what are my first impressions on the Mulgari ICON 03? This is a hugely impressive car. This is absolutely amazing. That small tuning company, UK based as well, is doing these kinds of cars and is just, like I said, they've out BMW. They've made a car that's absolutely brilliant, and yes, it is an expensive car. 79 grand is a huge amount of money. So if you are looking for this, you're looking for some key aspects. You're looking for exclusivity. There's only 25 of these that are going to be made. Mogari have already got some orders down for it. They've not sold out yet, but they've got orders down. The other thing you've got then is the performance, and the performance is phenomenal. A sub 4-second car in today's world is hugely impressive. None of the BMWs that are based on this car can do that. So they've outperformed BMW with a BMW Mulgari. And it's still, like I said, you still got all the practical features of the car. You've still got the great visibility. You've got those looks. That's another thing as well. This car looks sensational. I sit this alongside a Civic Type R in terms of the looks. It is very in your face, very brash. They've got the homage to previous generations of M cars with the carbon fibre roof, but it's very in your face. It's not overly aggressive, I'll say that. The front splitter and the rear splitters, they're very tame, but it's those wide arches that just stand out. And the fact that, I don't think I've mentioned this yet, and if I have, I'm going to mention it again. There's a certain number I got told by Nate at Mulgari, and it's 36 centimeters wider than an M2 competition. Now, if you kind of didn't get that in the spaces, I could have tried to add dramatic effect. I'll say that again. The Mulgari ICON, this Mulgari ICON 03 is 36 centimeters wider than a BMW M2 competition. So I've kind of lost track a little bit. I think I was doing my sum up of the Mulgari ICON 03. So, in a sentence, it's a bloody awesome car. I absolutely love it. It's got the performance, it's got the looks, it's got the exclusivity and the individuality as well to hold its own. I'm so humbled and happy and privileged and honoured that Mulgari have invited me down to have a drive of this car. There's only been a couple of other journalists that have kind of done videos on the Mulgari, and I'm one of them. I'm feeling really happy now with that. But it's just absolutely amazing. And it's just testament to the guys at Mulgari. They've really done a brilliant job with this. So everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this first impression drive of the Mulgari ICON 03. As always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and that bell notifications icon to let you know when I bring out a new video. Please, if you've got any questions about the Mulgari ICON 03 or just about Mulgari in general, put them down in the comments section below. As from the interview with Nate, if you've got any questions for Mulgari, put them down in the comments section below. I will happily forward them on and do my utmost to get an answer for you. I just want to say again a huge thank you to the team at Mulgari for inviting me down to drive this prototype ICON 03. This is definitely a highlight of 2019 and an absolute privilege. I feel very honoured to be driving this car and being one of the first journalists to get the opportunity to do that. So guys, yeah, please subscribe, please follow, but also follow on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, because I do put additional content, additional photos, live videos, you know, about days like today on there. So it's a great way of not being able to miss out. But yeah guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Put your comments in the comment section below and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.